Genghis Khan conquered the world through fear. Alexander conquered it through belief. One ruled by intimidation. The other ruled by inspiration. One wanted his enemies to surrender. The other wanted his soldiers to follow him anywhere. Both changed history forever. Both built empires that stretched beyond imagination. But the way they conquered could not have been more different. This is the story of a man who did not want the world to fear his name. He wanted the world to believe in it. This is the story of Alexander the Great. Part 1. A boy taught to dream of destiny. Alexander was born in 356 BC in the kingdom of Macedon. Unlike many conquerors, he was not born into nothing. His father, King Philip II, was a brilliant military leader, a man who forged Macedon into a powerful state. But Alexander's greatest inheritance was not his father's army. It was his mother's voice. Olympias filled his childhood with stories of gods and heroes. She told him he was destined for greatness, that his bloodline traced back to Achilles himself. From a young age, Alexander did not dream small. He believed he was meant to change the world. But belief alone is fragile. At just 13 years old, Alexander was sent to be taught by Aristotle, one of the greatest philosophers in history. There, he learned about politics, science, art, and ethics. But more importantly, he learned how to think. Alexander did not just want to conquer land. He wanted to understand it. By the time he was a teenager, he had already proven his courage on the battlefield. And at 20 years old, his world changed forever. His father was assassinated. Suddenly, the boy became king, surrounded by enemies, questioned by allies, watched closely by a world that expected him to fail. History waited. Part 2. Leading from the front. Most rulers lead from behind walls. Alexander led from the front. From the very beginning, he made a choice that defined his reign. He would never ask his soldiers to go where he would not go himself. He rode into battle with them, fought beside them, led beside them. This was not recklessness. It was strategy. Fear can force obedience, but shared danger creates loyalty. When soldiers see their leader risk everything alongside them, they do not fight because they must. They fight because they believe. Alexander's army was not the largest. It was not always the strongest. But it was unified. Every victory strengthened the bond between the king and his men. They did not see Alexander as distant royalty. They saw him as one of their own, a leader who shared their hardships and their glory. That belief would carry them far beyond the borders of Macedon. Part 3. Speed, boldness, and the art of the impossible. Alexander understood something critical. Hesitation kills momentum. While others planned endlessly, Alexander moved. He attacked when enemies expected him to wait. He advanced when others would retreat. Speed became his signature. At the Battle of Issus, his smaller army faced the vast forces of Darius III, king of the Persian Empire. Logic said Alexander should lose. But Alexander did not fight logically. He identified weakness. He struck decisively. He shattered the enemy's confidence. Again and again, he chose the bold path over the safe one, crossing deserts, marching through unknown lands, challenging forces far larger than his own. Not because it was easy, but because it was unexpected. Fortune favors the bold. Alexander did not just believe this phrase, he lived it. Many conquerors erase what they defeat. Alexander absorbed it. As he moved deeper into Asia, he encountered cultures older than his own. Instead of destroying them, he studied them. He respected local traditions, honored foreign gods, encouraged marriages between his soldiers and local women. This was not weakness. It was intelligence. Alexander understood that lasting power comes from acceptance, not oppression. Cities did not always surrender out of fear. Some surrendered out of admiration. They saw in Alexander a ruler willing to understand them. He wore Persian clothing, adopted Persian customs, ruled as both king and student. In doing so, he connected worlds that had never met before. East and West began to merge. Alexander did not just conquer land. He created a shared civilization. Part 5: The dangerous hunger for more. But belief has its limits. Alexander never learned how to stop. Each victory fueled his ambition. Each conquest fed his hunger. His men grew tired. Their loyalty was tested. They had marched thousands of miles, fought countless battles, endured unimaginable hardship. At the edge of India, his soldiers finally refused to go further. For the first time, Alexander faced resistance. Not from enemies, but from his own army. He agreed to turn back. But something had changed. The dream had grown too large. The empire too vast. The future too uncertain. At just 32 years old, Alexander fell ill and died. No clear heir. No stable succession. The empire he built on belief began to fracture. Generals fought. Territories split. The world Alexander united slowly fell apart. Part 6: Fear and Belief, Two Paths to Power. Genghis Khan showed us how fear can conquer the world. Alexander showed us how belief can do the same. Fear forces obedience. Belief earns devotion. Fear spreads quickly. Belief spreads deeply. Fear controls behavior. Belief shapes identity. Both are powerful. Both can build empires. But both demand a price. Fear requires constant reinforcement. Belief requires constant presence. When the architect disappears, the structure begins to weaken. The question is not, which is stronger? The question is, which one lasts longer? Alexander the Great reminds us that conquest is not only about domination, it is about vision, about convincing others to see the world the way you see it. He did not want to be feared. He wanted to be followed. And for a moment in history, the world followed him. But his story is also a warning. Ambition without limits can destroy what it creates. Belief without structure can collapse overnight. Greatness demands balance. On Born to Conquer, we explore every path to power: fear, belief, discipline, will. Because history is not shaped by one kind of conqueror. It is shaped by those who dare to lead and dare to pay the price. This was Alexander the Great, a man who conquered without fear. And this is Born to Conquer.